What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Bull Gear RC videos. Now today, if you've seen the last video, you know I got this little ECX Barrage real cheap, and I've challenged myself to, see if I can make this truck cool. And one of the problems for me with this truck is it's just too fast. It doesn't have enough gear reduction for my taste. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to attempt to see if this Tamiya mini motor low speed gearbox 4-speed is going to work out for us as a way to get some gear reduction in this little guy here. So I've been looking at the specs a bit, and we can go right here. We have a 71.4 to 1 gear reduction with this particular gear selection, which gives us 88 revolutions per minute and 236 gram-force centimeters of torque, which is approximately 3.227 inch-ounces of torque. And this is, at 3 volts. So, and if you don't know, the ECX Barrage has a 24-tooth spur gear, 12-tooth pinion gear in the axles, which gives us a 2-to-1 gear reduction here. So if we do 71.4 reduction with a 2-to-1 reduction in the axles, that's going to give us a final gear reduction of 142.8 to 1. So that seems to me like it should probably slow this thing down a bit. So let's get into this box here and see what we got inside of it. All right, here we have our little directions. I've already looked at the directions a little bit. It seems fairly easy, guys. We have basically 4 steps, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 7 steps altogether. And one of the things I'm noticing right here, because I'm looking at the picture on the box, and the mount is opposite of the shaft, and I thought that was going to give me an issue, but as we see right here, you can mount the mounting ears either on the top or the bottom of the case. So if we put them on the bottom of the case, we can mount this thing with the shaft on the bottom side. So that looks like it's all going to work out for us. These parts are just for some like cranks or something. If you want to put those on, we won't be using that. So let's get this thing out of here and see what all comes in this little gear reduction box here. This is our case. So the case is fairly small. I don't think it's going to be an issue to install this case in there size-wise. That's looking pretty decent. Here we have some screws. This is the shaft. This is the drive shaft section. This is a little locking collar that'll go on the drive shaft. Some little bushings. That's what the shaft will run in, is these bushings. Set screws for the collar. And we also have some little pins. I think there's 3 pins in here. And these pins we will be using to install the gears on the inside. And finally, here is our gear set, our selection. All of these gears are not used in this particular kit according to the directions, so I don't know exactly why they include them all, other than, maybe it's for a different model or something, and they just throw the parts in. And then, of course, here we have our standard 0.30 size little motor. And this looks to be Well, this is actually smaller than the Barrage motor, but this is the same size as like in our ECX 24s or our Hybrid Plus trucks. And I don't know how much torque this one has, but I do have a 100-turn Hobby Plus motor that might even increase our torque a little bit when we put everything together. So yeah, let's get this thing together and see what it looks like. Okay, so step one of this thing, guys, is just to sort out our gears that we have. These gears are used, these gears are not used. So we're looking at the first one. This is our worm gear for our motor. The second one is a 17-tooth, 11-tooth, and that's going to be this one right here. Now we're going to need 4 of these guys. These guys are easy to tell because, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are little holes on either side. And we can see the little holes here. And then the final gear is going to be our output gear. So we have 2 of these extra ones with the 2 little holes. We have this thing here that's not in the instructions anywhere. And also gear 1, gear 2, and gear 3, which are not in the directions, but they're included in the kit. So all of those are pretty much junk to us, and these 2 are, you know, maybe spares for this stuff here. All right, so step 2, also a piece of cake. You cut the worm gear off the parts tree, which I already did. It says, you know, make sure you clean it up there where the little tab is, and then we just install that on the motor, making sure that the large flat end, it's kind of hard to screw it up because this end doesn't have a hole in it, and this end does, so we just push that on the motor. So let's knock that out. And there we have it. Worm gear is installed on the motor, and that's step 2. Okay, so step 3 is to install our little pins, our little gears, and to lube those up. So we're going to be using the thin side of this case, and we have 3 holes here. There's 1. Second hole is there, and the third hole is right here. And then we are going to be installing these gears, and you have to make sure you put these in the right order, or you'll have to take it back apart. So 1 goes here. We have to stagger these in an upward direction as we go around. Now this last one, it gets the smaller gear, the 1711. So you're going to have them stacked up like that. And then we start from the first one again. We'll set that one in there like that. And we stack this last one right in there like that. And there is our gears installed. And then we just take some of this little lube that they provide with the kit, and we go ahead and lube these up. Alright, so now we're on step 4, which is installing the motor and putting the 2 sides of the case together. And then we will also be installing the little bushings in one of these 2 holes, and depending on the gear ratio that we use will determine which holes we put the little eyelets in, and we'll see about that in step 6 why that is. So let's get this motor in here. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It just Fits right in there just like that. You can see worm gear rides there, and I did grease all this stuff up already. So now the case fits together just like that, and we have just about got ourselves an assembled gearbox. So we are going to be using the 74:1 or 71.4:1 gear ratio. So that means we are going to be putting the eyelets in the furthest out position. We're going to be using this side of the hole, not this side of the hole. So let's get that done. All right, now the directions say to use some tweezers, but I don't have any tweezers, and well, that fits right in there pretty nicely just by hand. So we will get this, let's see, there we go. Okay, now we're just going to install our little screws. There's 3 screws that hold this case together. All right, this is step 5, and as we've seen in step 4, depending on which side of this we put our bushings in depends, on our gear ratio. So this in the rear position, if you can see right here, there are 4 gears that we can select from for our different gear ratios. We have 2 smaller gears, and then we have 2 larger gears. For the gear ratio that I've selected, the 71.4, we are going to use this gear right here, and this is the one that's going to drive our final gear. So, depending on which position we use gives us our final gearing output. So to do this, we just need to install our shaft. Then we need to slip this little brass collar over our shaft. And this needs to be, well, actually we need to put this collar in. There's a little slot there that goes in, so we need to do that. And then we can set our final gear in here. And we want to, so we got to make sure that we're doing this right. We got to, there's little slots. So we have to have this one, we have to have this one to be right there. And we put our shaft through, and now they supply a little Allen wrench. Let's see, where did that go? So we're going to we'll put our set screw in here, and that will, here we are. We'll put our little set screw in, and that will basically complete the building of this gearbox. So that, guys, is how you build this little Tamiya 4-speed gearbox. It was really a piece of cake. So in the next video, we will go ahead and we're going to have to shorten these shafts up, and we are going to have to do a little bit of work on these to get them to go into the barrage drive shafts. As you can see, these are hexagon, like a little Allen wrench, and we're going to have to do a little bit of we'll have to cut these down. We'll have to do a little filing on them and get them where they will go into the drive shafts there, and then we'll wire this thing up and see if it works. So till next time, guys, old Uncle Lee, Bogear RC Video said, I'll see ya.